back to Fox 51 today. Today we're going to be talking about transplanting some of the plants that are in your yard. Something a lot of people like to do this time of year. We got Brenda Swaggerty with Petty's Irrigation and Landscaping to explain to us what's the proper way to do it. Hello.
Hello.
Okay, now tell us, what is the proper step someone should take if they're trying to transplant some of their dormant plants?
Well, right now is the perfect time of year to move plants around in your yard. Things that you don't like where they're at, so you want to move them to the other side of your yard, or move things from the back to the front or the front to the back. Or a lot of people like to split up bulbs, irises, daffodils, things like that, and kind of thin the herd. So this is a perfect time of year to do that. All of your plants have stopped actively growing. So they've kind of gone to sleep above ground, but your root system grows 365 days a year. So now's the time to dig them up and move them where you want them. Pick a good location for them. If they're doing well in full sun, then move them to an area where you still have full sun. If they do really well and thrive more in the shady areas, then whatever new area you pick, you need to move them into the same type of atmosphere. When you dig a plant, you want to dig them in an upside down triangle.
Why is that?
So, because plants spread out at the top.
Okay.
So your root system will cover the surface of the ground and then go down accordingly into a V pattern into the ground and tap root in. So you want to dig them in the same pattern so that you lose less of your root mass. So dig them in a V pattern. Try, if your plant's 4 foot wide, try to dig your root ball at least 1.5 feet to 2 foot wide. Cover 1/3 to 1/2 of the width of the top of your plant and dig straight down. If your plant's 4 foot tall, you're going to need to dig about 2 to 3 feet deep. So it's a bigger hole than you think, but in a V pattern it's not as massive as if you just dug a great big ball out of the ground. Plant them the same way at the same height, even if you're about 1/2 inch above.
Okay.
Mulch around the root ball, not on the root ball, and never put mulch up against the base of the plant. After you've moved them, or even before, if it's too, in your way, say obstructive, go ahead and prune that plant back. And you can take 1/3 to 1/2 of the entire plant off. But when you're pruning, you want to make sure that you pull those stems and branches out that are going in directions where you don't want the plant to grow. So if the plant's growing more to the left than to the right, you want to cut those left branches off and make the plant look more even. Round it if necessary. If you want something to be completely square, prune it square. Then dig it up, move it, transplant it.
Why is pruning so important to
Because your root
process?
ball never stops growing.
Okay.
But all of your root ball picks up energy from fertilizer, water, oxygen, elements out of the soil, and it puts all of its energy into producing that beautiful plant on top. Flowers, leaves, new growth, everything. So by pruning that off, you eliminate the need for that plant to put all of its energy up, allowing it to produce energy down so that new roots are grown and established, and your plant roots in and becomes completely rooted, usually before spring even hits.
Very interesting.
So.
Wow. Okay, so this idea of pruning is it also like just taking off some of the bad leaves, or like the leaves that have like stopped growing, or any part of the plant that has stopped growing?
Your plant stopped growing because it's dormant.
Okay.
But you want to reshape it so that when it does come out of dormancy in spring and summer, it grows in the pattern in which you want it to grow in. So, like I said, if everything's growing up and to the left, if you'll take that portion off, it'll allow the right side to catch up.
Okay.
If you top the plant, it will usually allow the plant to grow from the bottom again, filling in those bare areas.
All right. Well, we unfortunately run out of time, but thank you so much for telling us all about this,
You're
Brenda.
welcome.
Coming up next year on Fox 51 today, we've got a quick news break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.